So I'm roaming around Chicago one morning and on an incredibly overcast, bad light, bad blah, bad weather, bad everything kind of day. But I had a few hours to kill before a flight where I was leaving, and so I have to walk around a little bit. And I came across the bean, and you have to take a picture of it, even though you're probably not going to use it anymore. You still got to take a picture just to say you were there. I'm glad I kept it because it actually gives me a really good example for lens correction, the lens correction feature here inside of Camera Raw, because it works great on tall buildings. So we're going to hop over to the lens correction panel over here. It's got two tabs, profile and manual. You can give profile a try. Okay, let me get this a little bit larger on screen. You can give your profile a try, just enable lens profile. It'll automatically look at the camera and the lens that you were shooting with, and it'll make some adjustments. You can see here, it's fixed a little bit of vignetting, right? Little bit, tiny bit of distortion, but nothing to speak of here. Okay, if you shot it with a fisheye lens, it'll do a huge fix. But with this, it's a 14 and 24. It doesn't really know what angle this should be at. So it's only done a little bit of a minor fix, especially with the vignetting. So let's switch over to manual. What type of a problem do we have here? Well, we've really got a vertical perspective problem, a little bit of a distortion problem. If you were to look at the line down here on the ground, you could say that we could straighten that out just a little bit, but it's going to be tough. There's really not too much to work with here. Most of the problem is going to be vertical perspective. So we come over here and just tweak our vertical perspective. Okay, and you can see how we can make these buildings essentially stand up, right? And you come down here to rotate them around a little bit, like so. All right, click your preview. That's before, after. Okay, and then the last thing to do up here is obviously we've got a problem. We've got this area down here, and something needs to be done with it. So we come over to our crop tool, and there's an option over here. If you just turn on constrained to image, because it was turned on before, and you just start to click and drag, you don't really have to even worry about what you're dragging over. Camera Raw will automatically snap to the edges to make sure that you're not going to crop out or not leave in any of this extra stuff over here that you don't want. And especially once you get that crop overlay drawn onto your image, now you can even tweak this a little bit more, and I can change my vertical perspective and make sure those buildings are standing up straight, as well as just rotate around just a little bit, just like that. Okay, and then what we want to do is exit out of the crop tool. Just click on any other tool here. So this is our image. Again, you can hit your preview. That's before, that's after. So big change. It's nice. We've had these controls inside of Photoshop, but they just came into Camera Raw in the previous version of Camera Raw. So they stuck through to Camera Raw 7. But it's nice to be able to do these things. The more we can do in Camera Raw, I think the faster that we tend to be in working on our photos, and the faster that we get done, the less we have to go over into Photoshop and do with filters and all these different things. So the main thing to kind of glean from all this is, if you are taking wide angle photos of big buildings and cityscapes and all these things, is just keep in mind, we lost a lot of the photo. If you recall, there was a whole extra area over here. We've lost a lot of it, especially area in the foreground here too. So you want to shoot loose, what they call, you want to make sure that you leave yourself some room, because you're going to have to fix this perspective later on. You want to make sure that you leave yourself some room, because we're going to have to crop a lot of these areas out. So if you know ahead of time, you can shoot it that way so that you're not cropping out important parts of the photo.